Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're doing good today. Well, what if there was one amendment that you could use to plant your tomatoes and you didn't have to use anything else? You didn't have to worry about calcium, you didn't have to worry about fertilizing, just one simple thing. Well, that's the experiment that I'm trying today. And so I'm going to show you what I'm using, but the tomatoes that I picked to grow, they're going to be tough to grow, and so this is really going to put this experiment to the test. So I honestly believe if I have success with these, you'll have success with any other kind of tomato too. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the kind of tomatoes that I'm going to grow. The first one is a San Marzano. Now, it is an heirloom and it is an indeterminate, but one thing about it is it is kind of susceptible to blossom end rot. And so this is going to tell me whether the calcium in what I put in the ground actually works good or not. This, with an indeterminate, you're going to be growing tomatoes all season long. And so this is going to be a really good test for what I'm doing here. Now the second one, it's a big Zac, and this is the first time I've grown these, but it is a hybrid, but it's an indeterminate hybrid, and supposedly you can grow up to a 6-pound tomato with a big Zac. And so the fertilizer part of what I'm doing here is really going to get put to the test. I want to see how big these can get. Now, I've planted both of these over in where I've got all my other tomatoes and where I do it the normal way with, rabbit poop and eggshells and all that. And so we're going to be able to compare this one item to that over there. So this is going to be a really good experiment. Now let's go ahead and we're going to get into planting these, and I'm going to show you what this looks like today. Hey, if you watch this video and you like it and you find value in it, please consider subscribing. I really would appreciate it, and as always, it is free. Now let's go ahead and start planting some tomatoes. Okay, so what I did was about 6 weeks ago, I drilled 3 holes, and they're about 1 foot deep and 8 inches in diameter, and I filled them up with alfalfa pellets like you would feed to rabbits. Now, I made a video on this, and I'm going to leave a link to that in the description, but you can see what it looked like then. So I'm going to bring you down and I'm going to show you what this alfalfa looks like now after 6 weeks. Alright, so I'm going to dig some of the dirt that got on top, and we're going to get down to the alfalfa. And so this is what it is, and it has broke down quite a bit. I wish I had started this a little bit sooner, gave it a little more time to break down, but we'll see. It does look a little bit different than when I put it into the ground, and it did compress down. It wasn't all the way up to the top anymore. But this hole was about 1 foot deep, so there's plenty left in there. So that's about how deep I'm going to put it. And then I do this with any tomato that I plant, no matter how I plant them. I always just take a little cheap topsoil and I put into the bottom of the hole, because whether I'm using, rabbit manure, whatever, I just don't want them roots to touch, that fertilizer. And so it just gives them roots a chance to kind of spread out and, get a little bit bigger before they get into a bunch of fertilizer. And then we'll put that down in there. And there is some alfalfa up on top too. So, you know, when it rains or when I water it, you know, all the nutrients that are in here, they're going to, you know, sink down and get to them roots. Now, the last thing I do, and I do this with all my tomatoes, most of my plants, I'll take that same topsoil and I'll put it on top just so with my clay soil, once it rains on it several times, it can become hard packed, and it's hard for that rainwater, or when I water them, for that to come and get down in there. So this just kind of lets the water get down into the hole a lot easier. Now let me explain why I think this is going to work. All right, so I would love to hear what you guys think, whether you think it's going to work or it's not going to work. But the reason why I believe this will work is I did some reading on alfalfa pellets, alfalfa in general, and it has a lot of calcium in it. And so I think that will help with blossom end rot. But it's also a very well-balanced fertilizer. And the nitrogen, it is a slow release nitrogen, so you're not going to give them too much, and it's going to be there for them indeterminate tomatoes throughout the whole growing season. So you know, you still have your phosphorus, you know, your potassium, things like that. And so this is going to be really interesting to see how it comes out, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Well, that's the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.